Hi, so I'm Andrea Reef from Positive Sue. I'm here to talk to Jay Case today about his newest album release, The Foundation, which he will be playing on December 22nd at Lop Lop. So make sure you get a chance to check that show out, as it'll be out soon. And Jay, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Jay Case, and I'm from Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, born and raised. I briefly lived in Alberta for basically a summer when I was a kid, but I've spent all of my other waking moments here in the Soo, and I absolutely love it. I grew up in a place called Case Road, which is out near Hiawatha, and so the outdoors was a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
Music and the outdoors, I could say, were basically my entire life. If I wasn't listening to my family play music and sing, I was outside with my dog and we were running through the bush, getting lost and making my mom worry.
Right.
There were more than one time that I can think of specifically that I came home, left in the morning with my dog, and then I came home just after dark, and there were police cars in my driveway because my mom was filing a missing persons report.
Where's my son?
Where's my son? He's 12 years old, and he's somewhere in the bush. A bear probably has him by the neck.
Typical
And
mom.
yeah, she was like so mad at me for a few days, but then it'd be like, hey, Mom, I'm gonna go out. Yeah, next day. Fine, go ahead. Just come back before dark, you turkey. So yeah, that was me. I went to school at Prince Charles Public School and James Lyons Public School and Prince of Wales Public School and Bawading High School, and not one of those places is still a school. So that means I think I'm getting old.
Yeah, you know what? You might be, but we all are.
I guess. And it's a beautiful thing. I was actually told by someone very close to me that whenever they start to feel like, oh, I'm getting old and I'm not really enjoying feeling older, just remember, not everyone gets to get to that point. Not everybody gets to reach 40 years. I just turned 40 this year. So if you can look at it from that perspective, it's a privilege to be able to make it to age with such grace that we're doing. Right? But
Still enjoying it.
Yeah, and just enjoy it and think about the people who didn't make it quite as far and what they would do if they were in your shoes. So
Yes.
I try to remember.
Live extraordinarily.
Exactly. Try to just not regret the beauty of aging.
That's fun. I like that. That's sort of like the joy of insignificance. Like you can
Also
say,
that.
oh, we're just a small speck in the universe,
Mhm.
but that's kind of what makes life so special, and you can do what you
So
like.
fleeting.
To do, like,
Yeah, you're not going to make a
Yeah.
humongous impact on the entire cosmos. So just like do your thing and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
And then it takes a lot of the pressure off. You can just be yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a humility and a sort of like an at peace to feel that way. I
Yeah.
agree with you there.
I love that. So let's talk a little bit about your voice. When
Okay.
did you start singing, and when did you realize that you had such a cool voice?
I think I'm still trying to realize that now, but so it's interesting because my whole life I did grow up in a musical family. Like everyone, all of my aunts and uncles, most of my cousins, and certainly my grandfather and my grandmother were musicians. My grandfather was called the Sault Ste. Marie's answer to Don Messer. He was a fiddle player, absolutely fantastic East Coast fiddle player. And his name was Mel Case or Melbourne Case, but he always went by Bodo Case. And so we would have every week, probably 2 or 3 times a week, just people over from the neighborhood and my aunts and uncles, and everybody just sit in the living room. My mom would play the piano and everybody'd sing. My uncles were playing guitar, my grandpa's playing the fiddle. But I never took part in it, I just watched until I was about 17. People would always ask me, Jay, why don't you, I was an athlete, I fancied myself an athlete. I was playing sports, I was pretty sure I was going to go to the NBA as a 5'7" point guard somehow. We don't think those things through as much anymore. The world's a bit of a bigger place now, so it's easier to realize, oh, that might not happen, so make sure you make other plans. But so when I was about 17, my mom, for my 17th Christmas, bought me a guitar because my uncle Mike Case, who people from Sault Ste. Marie, everybody
Case's
knows him.
music.
Yeah, so he opened Case's music. Geez, that was a long time ago, so probably 20 some odd years ago. And my mom went to him to buy a guitar for me to try to push me into playing an instrument just because she thought it would be good for me. And yeah, basically Christmas morning, from then on for the next 10 years, I played about 8 hours a day. I just couldn't believe how I've missed this my whole life. But I didn't sing. I didn't sing until my mid mid to late 20s when I started singing, actually. I played guitar in several bands that toured around Ontario and stuff, but I didn't sing. I sang backups. I was very meek.
What do you think brought it out of you?
I think the act of actually singing and just sort of being a little more confident. So I was a bit meek, but then I started singing backups, and then it's like, oh, maybe do you want to try singing a song? Oh my gosh, I couldn't do that. But I felt comfortable with a guitar in my hands, but singing is laying bare your soul, is what it feels like. And it takes a while to be comfortable with that, because it's not an instrument you can't hide behind oh, well, the strings are a bit old, so it sounds a bit weird, or, oh, this guitar is out of tune a little bit. It's you.
Yeah, you're bearing yourself to everybody.
So,
yeah.
and then my mid-20s, I had sort of just taken a little bit by little bit by little bit. Gradually, the singer friends that I had I was playing with were very gracious in helping me get there. But about 25, 26, I started singing, and yeah, I haven't looked back. I really, really enjoy it. I find it to be something that I'm still learning to do as well. When I sing a new song, even if I've written it, it's still a new song. I still have to learn it myself, learn the ins and the outs of it, and learn what each line is going to sound like when I deliver it perfectly.
That's so cool. That's getting to know a whole other aspect of yourself when you believed you were one way, and then you realize, oh, I'm capable of even more.
I can do this stuff too, man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So I through years of I used to be a smoker. I'm a bit embarrassed to say. Not embarrassed. We all go through things in our life that we might look back on and say, well, that might have been a mistake. But at the time, I did that for a little bit, and I have a fair affinity for whiskey. So that helped to shape my voice quite a bit. So by the time I was in my mid-30s, I had this rasp to my voice that not everybody is blessed with. But yeah, I try to harness that and hopefully make it sound not too bad.
Well, that's using your past for your own benefit.
That's it.
Using it to create more.
That's right. Yeah,
this
exactly.
Is part of who I was.
This making lemonade. Lemons. Yeah.
Yes. Well, your music comes across very soothing, and it comes across very I spent all day listening to it today, as I was saying earlier.
And you're still not sick of hearing my voice?
No, you're not sick of hearing it at all.
All
it's soothing. It's it's full of memories, and I think that's what really good music does. Is it puts you in another place.
Yeah.
It reminds you of other people that you've been as you've been going through this crazy little whirlwind of life.
Beautiful way to put it. Other people that you've been. I love that. Yeah. That's a lot about one of the songs, Beautiful You, I find you can hear it as, and the way I kind of intended it was when you plan for things and you have this vision of what you're going to be in the future, and those things are inevitably not going to be exactly that way, and that's okay. It's important to remember that person that you were isn't the same person that you are now, but you're still beautiful. And don't lose the beauty of that in the ever-changing directions of your life and the people that you are.
Yeah, as you come to terms with reality and,
you're
different
faced with
aspects
things that are outside of your control, and some things you do control, and it's still beautiful.
So, Foundation, where did you come up with the title for that? What is the meaning of that behind it for you?
It's pretty personal to me. There's a song on the record called Beautiful You that in the choruses there's a line that says, there was salvation on this old foundation. And that's kind of where I came from, because there's a common theme in the album. When I was recording it, or when I was compiling the songs for the album, a lot of them were written like years and years and years ago, but some were written while I was recording the album. But as I was recording them and compiling the songs and writing them, a common theme started to emerge where it was about the people and the places and the things that shaped that person that you are today. And at different times of your life. So through each of the songs, there's a very personal element for me that ties back to a thing that made me who I am today. Or maybe is right now making me who I'm going to be tomorrow. Yeah. So, and that's all part of Foundation. And I was in a state of sort of upending, and I was in flux, and I was in just a transitional point in my life, which we all run into several times in our lives, I'm sure.
The chaos and
chaotic
the
and
highs and the lows.
Yeah, and there's an uncertainty as to like what was I doing, what am I doing now and what am I going to do? And there's a certain strength in that as well, but sometimes you can feel a bit weak. Like in the song January Cold, which is
man, that was my favorite.
Okay, so that was written in a very and like it was written in January, and it was right during that sort of that time of flux and chaos that was going on, and I tried to put it into music how I was kind of feeling at the time. But I think some people disagree, but I think that there's a sense of that you can overcome. There's a sense of optimism to it, and the reason is the first line that I wrote was of that song. I was walking down the street and it was just getting pelted by snow, and it was windy on Queen Street down the wind tunnel, and I said to myself, this bitterness is fleeting, don't worry about it, like it's not going to be, there's going to be a tailwind on the way home.
Yeah, changes the other.
It's a headwind, yeah. So I thought that, and then I thought, that was a nice turn of phrase, so I picked it up and I wrote the song in about 15 minutes when I got back from my appointment. So yeah, I mean, that common theme of shaping you and where you grow up from, and it doesn't necessarily mean from birth, because you can have a rebirth and a rebirth and a rebirth, and that's the beautiful thing about life. And if you get the opportunity like we have so far to keep living it, is that foundation it was a common theme. So that's kind of where the album name came from anyway.
Yeah, and you're going to be touring with this one now.
That's correct, yeah. So we did a quick little jaunt down to Southern Ontario, myself and my bandmates, Frank Duresti and Chris Johns. We've toured together as the three of us plus others for years and years together, so it was just a natural fit. Whereas on the record, I played all the instruments and stuff like that on there, but these guys are my absolute brothers, like as close to family as you can get without sharing DNA, and we probably do share DNA. But so we went on a quick little run earlier in November, down south to a couple of places that are like second homes to us. Just a quiet little CD release to just say, hey guys, here's some CDs, tell your friends. And we have an upcoming show at the end of December at Loplop's Lounge that we're going to be releasing locally. And then in the spring or early summer, we're going to plan a bit of a tour around Ontario, maybe just a little bit outside of Ontario. Still in the works, still applying to festivals and stuff like that right now. So yeah, we plan to tour this album relatively hard to try to get the word out there, spread the good word.
Yeah, so I think your music has brought a lot of blessings to Sault Ste. Marie. I think that what you're capable of sharing with people, and I think that the openness that you have to be willing to sit and just chit chat with me even, and to share your music, it's a gift. And a lot of people have these gifts, but to recognize it and to do something about it, I think that's what sets some people apart, and I think you're one of those people.
I appreciate that very, very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. I don't love talking about myself, but you asked questions in a way that I didn't feel like I was, so that was great.
Yeah, I try to make people comfortable. I just like to talk. Well, thank you for coming and chit-chatting with me. And again, his album is released now. We've got the release party at Loplop's, one of our absolute favorite places to go in Sault Ste. Marie. Listen to awesome
live music.
It's very radical. And it'll be December 22nd. Doors open at 8 o'clock, doors open at 7 o'clock.
Doors at 7, but trust me, I'm not sure when you lovely people are viewing this. We right now, as of taping, we're over half sold, and there's still 2.5 weeks left. So I would definitely try to get it online. There won't be tickets at the door. Buy them online or message me. Go to my website, and you can just send me a message, and we'll get you hooked up.
All right, and get one of JK's CDs. He's an amazing, amazing artist, local. We're very proud to have him here.
Thanks so much.